Are we hacking reality? Quantum biology's impact on spirituality. Scientists just discovered your body might be a quantum computer. The same bizarre physics that lets particles exist in two places at once isn't just happening in labs. It's happening inside your cells right now. Quantum biology is revealing that processes like photosynthesis, bird navigation, and even our sense of smell rely on quantum effects that shouldn't work in warm, wet biological systems, but somehow do. What's mind-blowing is how this connects to ancient spiritual practices. When meditators talk about feeling interconnected with everything, they might be tapping into quantum entanglement, where particles remain connected regardless of distance. Those moments of sudden insight, possibly quantum tunneling in your neural networks, allowing thoughts to break through energy barriers. The boundary between science and spirituality gets even fuzzier when we look at consciousness. Some researchers suggest our awareness emerges from quantum processes in microtubules within neurons, tiny structures that might sustain quantum coherence just long enough to create conscious experience. This isn't just theoretical. Studies show experienced meditators can alter their brain waves and even influence random number generators, suggesting consciousness might interact with quantum probability fields. The implications are revolutionary. If our bodies are running quantum algorithms, practices like meditation, breathwork, and energy healing might be technological interfaces, ways to consciously influence these quantum biological processes. We're just scratching the surface of understanding how quantum mechanics operates in living systems. But what if ancient spiritual traditions were proto-scientific methods for hacking our quantum biology all along? The science is pointing to a reality where matter, energy, and consciousness are more deeply intertwined than we ever imagined. Imagine this. You're sitting in meditation, focusing on your breath, and suddenly, you feel a shift. A tingling in your hands, a wave of calm, maybe even a sense of connection to something bigger. This isn't just a subjective feeling. It's an experience shared across cultures and millennia, hinting at a deeper reality beneath the surface of our everyday perception. For a long time, science and spirituality have occupied separate realms, speaking different languages. Science focused on the measurable, the material, the objective, often dismissing subjective spiritual experiences as intangible or simply products of brain chemistry. Spirituality, meanwhile, explored the inner world, consciousness, and connection to something transcendent, often operating outside the strict confines of empirical validation. But what if science could explain why that happens, not just in vague, poetic terms, but down to the tiniest particles in your cells? What if the cutting edge of physics, the realm of quantum mechanics, holds the key to understanding these profound inner experiences? That's where quantum biology comes in. It's a field that's flipping the script on how we understand life itself, suggesting that the strange rules of the subatomic world aren't confined to laboratories, but are actively at play within our living tissues. It might just be the missing link between ancient spiritual practices and modern science, proposing a universe where the energetic and the biological are intimately intertwined. We're talking about a science that suggests our very cells communicate using light and energy, and that healing might be as much about optimizing cellular vibration and energy transfer as it is about chemical reactions or physical interventions. Figures like Deepak Chopra have popularized the idea of a quantum body, suggesting that our deepest essence and the source of our physical form lie at a level that transcends classical materialism. To grasp quantum biology, we need to shift our perspective from the macroscopic world we experience daily to the microscopic world of atoms, electrons, and photons. In our everyday lives, objects behave predictably according to classical physics. Throw a ball, and you know its trajectory. But at the nanoscale, things get weird. Particles can exist in multiple places at once, superposition, become linked in a way that defies classical intuition, entanglement, and can even pass through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross, quantum tunneling. Quantum biology is the study of how these bizarre quantum phenomena manifest and function within living organisms. It acknowledges that your body isn't just a lump of flesh and bone governed by simple mechanics and chemistry. Every cell is an incredibly complex system, buzzing with trillions of chemical reactions every second. Many of these reactions, particularly those involving the transfer of energy and electrons, operate at a level where quantum mechanics becomes not just relevant, but essential for understanding their efficiency and specificity. Living systems are increasingly being viewed as open quantum systems, meaning they interact with their warm, noisy environment in complex ways, yet still manage to harness delicate quantum effects. Take photosynthesis, for example. This fundamental process, which sustains most life on Earth, involves plants capturing sunlight and converting it into energy. It was long thought to be a purely classical process. However, research has revealed that the initial steps of light harvesting and energy transfer within plant cells rely on quantum coherence. Photons are absorbed by chlorophyll molecules, and the excitation energy doesn't just hop randomly from one molecule to the next. Instead, it explores multiple pathways simultaneously, like a quantum wave, ensuring that almost every captured photon's energy reaches the reaction center with remarkable efficiency, close to 100%. This quantum coherence allows the plant to find the optimal path for energy transfer incredibly quickly, far faster than a random walk would allow. Another fascinating example is found in the animal kingdom: bird navigation. Migratory birds can sense the Earth's magnetic field and use it to find their way across vast distances. The leading hypothesis for this magnetoreception involves quantum mechanics. Within the bird's retina, there are light-sensitive proteins called cryptochromes. When light hits these proteins, it can create pairs of electrons with linked or entangled quantum spins. The Earth's weak magnetic field can influence the spin states of these entangled electrons, which in turn affects the rate of subsequent chemical reactions. This quantum compass allows the bird to literally see the magnetic field lines. Other potential examples being explored include the efficiency of enzyme catalysis and even aspects of our sense of smell, where the vibration of molecules, a quantum property, might be key to their recognition. But here's the kicker, and the point where this intersects with our human experience. If nature uses quantum tricks to survive and thrive, what if we do too? Our bodies are made of the same atoms and particles that exhibit quantum behavior in plants and birds. What if those moments of deep meditation, prayer, intuition, or even creative flow aren't just random neural firings or psychological states, but a kind of biological hack, a way to tap into or optimize quantum-level processes in our own bodies? Could these ancient practices inadvertently be influencing the quantum dance happening within our cells? Let's connect the dots between these scientific ideas and spiritual practices. Take something like energy healing, Reiki, Qigong, therapeutic touch, or the concept of prana or chi in various traditions. Critics often dismiss these practices as purely placebo effects, attributing any perceived benefits solely to the power of belief and the patient's expectation of healing. While the placebo effect is a well-documented phenomenon and undoubtedly plays a role in many healing contexts, quantum biology opens a door to potentially exploring whether there are more fundamental energetic interactions at play. Consider the mitochondria again, the tiny organelles within our cells responsible for generating most of our energy in the form of ATP. This energy production relies on a complex series of chemical reactions called the electron transport chain. Within this chain, electrons are passed from one molecule to another, and these transfers often involve quantum tunneling, where the electron effectively tunnels through an energy barrier rather than having to climb over it. This quantum effect speeds up the process significantly. Could practices like focused breathwork, certain movements in Qigong, or even the energetic intent in practices like Reiki be influencing the efficiency of these mitochondrial processes? Research has shown that consistent meditation can lead to changes in the cellular environment, potentially supporting mitochondrial health. Meditation has been linked to reduced oxidative stress, which can damage mitochondria and improved cellular repair mechanisms. Could the calming of the nervous system and the altered physiological state induced by these practices create a more favorable environment for delicate quantum processes like electron tunneling in our energy production centers? It's a compelling question that warrants further investigation. The body's biofield, the subtle electromagnetic field generated by living organisms, is another area where quantum interactions might be relevant, particularly the strong electromagnetic field generated by the heart. Practices that promote heart coherence, like focused breathing, are being studied for their effects on this biofield. Or think about the power of intention setting, prayer, or focused visualization, practices central to many spiritual traditions. In the strange world of quantum physics, the act of observation seems to influence the state of a particle. Before measurement, a particle might exist in a superposition of multiple possible states. Observation appears to collapse this wave function into a single reality. This observer effect is one of the most counterintuitive aspects of quantum mechanics. While applying this directly to macroscopic reality is highly speculative, it has led some researchers to ponder the role of consciousness in shaping reality. One of the most prominent, and certainly controversial, figures in this discussion is Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. He proposes the hypothesis of morphic resonance, which suggests that natural systems inherit a collective memory from all previous things of their kind. This hypothetical field of influence operates outside the known laws of physics, but, according to Sheldrake, could explain phenomena like telepathy, the feeling of being stared at, and how skills or habits can appear to spread through a population without obvious means of communication. He suggests that focused human intention could potentially interact with these morphic fields, influencing the probability of certain outcomes. While mainstream science largely views morphic resonance as pseudoscience due to a lack of reproducible evidence and its inconsistency with established theories, it represents a bold attempt to bridge the gap between consciousness, information, and physical reality, echoing the idea that our thoughts and intentions might have a more profound impact on the world than classical physics would allow. If there is any validity to the idea that consciousness, perhaps through subtle quantum interactions, can influence probabilities, then practices centered on focused intention and visualization might be tapping into a fundamental aspect of reality. The complex interplay between mind and body, long acknowledged but poorly understood by classical science, finds a potential new framework in quantum biology, suggesting that mental states are not just outputs of brain activity, but could influence physical reality at a fundamental level. So, are we hacking reality? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves and jump to definitive conclusions. Quantum biology is still a relatively young and rapidly evolving field, and the connections between these scientific concepts and subjective spiritual experiences are complex and often speculative. Spirituality is also a deeply personal journey, with layers of meaning, belief, and cultural context that extend far beyond scientific explanation. But here's the exciting part. If these two worlds, science and spirituality, can indeed find areas of overlap and mutual inquiry, it changes everything about how we understand ourselves and our place in the universe. It opens up incredible possibilities for new technologies and approaches to well-being. Imagine biofeedback devices that go beyond measuring heart rate or skin temperature, instead sensing and providing feedback on subtle energetic or potentially quantum states in your body to help you optimize your meditation practice for deeper states of coherence and calm. These devices might tap into the body's electrical signals and brainwaves at a finer level, guided by principles of quantum resonance. Or imagine mindfulness apps designed not just with psychological principles in mind, but informed by an understanding of your unique biochemical and potentially quantum rhythms, helping you synchronize with your body's natural energy flows. Even the burgeoning field of psychedelic therapy, which is showing remarkable promise in treating mental health conditions by facilitating profound shifts in consciousness and rewiring neural networks, might be operating partly by disrupting entrenched patterns at a fundamental, perhaps even quantum, level within the brain, resetting neural circuits and allowing for new perspectives and healing. Psychedelics, from a complex systems perspective, appear to destabilize fixed points or attractors in brain activity, potentially allowing the system to explore new states, which some speculate could involve quantum dynamics. But it's not just about gadgets or therapeutic interventions. This fusion of quantum biology and an exploration of consciousness could redefine what it means to be human. If consciousness is not merely an emergent property of a classical, mechanical brain, but is somehow linked to or grounded in the quantum nature of reality, then perhaps our subjective experience of connection, intuition, and transcendence isn't an illusion. If consciousness and quantum biology are truly linked, maybe spirituality isn't about escaping the physical world or seeking something entirely separate from it. It's about diving deeper into the fundamental nature of the physical world itself, recognizing its inherent mystery and interconnectedness at the quantum level. Perhaps a deeper understanding of quantum biology will reveal that the sense of being connected to everything, often described in mystical experiences, has a basis in the entangled nature of reality, or in shared quantum processes happening throughout biological systems. Of course, as with any cutting-edge field that touches upon profound questions, not everyone is convinced, and skepticism is healthy and necessary for scientific progress. Critics rightly point out that the term quantum is often co-opted and misused in the realm of pseudoscience and New Age beliefs, leading to vague and unsubstantiated claims of quantum healing or quantum energy. And they're not wrong. It's crucial to distinguish between rigorous scientific inquiry and wishful thinking or deliberate deception. Attributing any mysterious phenomenon to quantum effects without concrete evidence or a plausible mechanism does a disservice to both science and genuine spiritual exploration. Quantum mind hypotheses, for instance, remain highly speculative and lack definitive empirical evidence, and applying quantum principles developed for isolated particles to the warm, wet, complex environment of a living cell is a significant challenge. But here's the thing. Science needs these bold ideas, these hypotheses that push the boundaries of our current understanding, to motivate new experiments and drive discovery. The key is balance, staying open-minded to possibilities without abandoning the principles of rigorous inquiry, evidence, and falsifiability. It means asking the hard questions, designing clever experiments, and being willing to follow the evidence wherever it leads, even if it challenges our preconceptions. The future of this field, it's already here, unfolding in labs around the world. Researchers are using sophisticated techniques to study how the incredibly subtle vibrations within proteins might play a role in their function, and how these molecular dynamics could potentially influence cellular signaling and even mental states. Theoretical physicists are collaborating with biologists to develop new models of consciousness that incorporate quantum principles, exploring ideas like orchestrated objective reduction in microtubules. And increasingly, individuals who have dedicated their lives to exploring the depths of consciousness through spiritual practices are engaging in dialogue with scientists, sharing their insights, and potentially guiding future research questions. Whether you approach this topic as a hardened skeptic, demanding empirical proof, or as a hopeful believer seeing science finally catching up to ancient wisdom, one thing is clear. We are on the edge of a potential paradigm shift in our understanding of life, consciousness, and the universe. It's a fascinating frontier where the smallest scales of reality might hold the biggest answers about who we are.